Look to the left now for the Navy's FA-18 Hornet on the roll. It's what we call a low transition. Now, the Hornet extending away from the airfield to set up for the high-speed pass. He's going to approach it nearly Mach 1, demonstrating the ability to surprise the enemy using high speed. As he reaches show center, he's going to select full afterburner, pull it up into the vertical, subjecting himself to 8 times the force of gravity. Now look out to the right as Bass is accelerating the FA-18 to nearly the speed of sound. And I want you to notice something as he approaches here. You'll see that the sound does not reach us until the aircraft reaches show center, indicating the high approach speed and the ability to surprise the enemy. Now look out to your right. Bass pushing the throttle up on the FA-18 Hornet to bring it up to nearly Mach 1, the speed of sound. And ladies and gentlemen, from your right, the high-speed pass by the FA-18 Hornet from the United States Navy. Watch and listen. No sound until he gets here. From the left, now Bass performing a vertical reversal maneuver to set up for a demonstration of the incredible thrust-to-weight ratio of the FA-18 Hornet. As he comes back to show center, I want you to watch Bass now as he pitches up through the vertical to execute a maneuver known as the double Immelmann. During this maneuver, the pilot will be subjected to 6 times the force of gravity. This maneuver named after a World War I Luftwaffe German pilot by the name of Max Immelmann. It gives you the ability to change direction and gain a little altitude at the same time. You're not going to see one, but you're going to see 2 Immelmanns. All Navy fighter pilots undergo 2 grueling years of flight training before earning their wings of gold. Bass earned his wings of gold from the Naval Air Station at Kingsville in 2005. Here we go with the double Immelmann. All right, straight up into the vertical now, up over the top. He remains inverted. Now watch him as he rolls the airplane back to the upright. There we go. Back on the stick once again to execute the second Immelmann. Lieutenant Bob Foley in the FA-18 Hornet. He's accrued over 1,800 flight hours after earning his wings of gold, including more than 1,600 in the FA-18 Hornet and the Super Hornet. He's fully qualified aboard Navy aircraft carriers, accumulating 265 day and night arrested landings. Now Bass is going to come back, demonstrate the extremely tight turning radius of the FA-18. Whether it's in a dogfight or avoiding surface-to-air missiles, the ability of the Hornet to turn around in a very tight space gives it a tremendous tactical advantage. This is going to be about an 8G maneuver. The forces of gravity pushing Bass down into that seat 8 times his own weight. From the left, the Hornet and the min radius turn. One unique characteristic that all Navy aircraft have to possess is the ability to land on an aircraft carrier, at sea with a moving, sometimes pitching flight deck. Navy and Marine pilots are trained to hit the landing area with pinpoint accuracy in what is not so much of a landing as a controlled crash, approaching at 175 miles an hour as the pilot flies a descending turn to a 3/4 mile final approach point. At this rate, this only allows him about 15 seconds to precisely adjust his flight path in order to touch down in an area not much bigger than your driveway. Now from the right, gear down, hook is down, flaps are down. It's the tail hook that allows the FA-18 to land and stop in only 400 feet. If he were coming aboard the boat, he'd be looking for the number 3 wire. Cable stretched across the deck of the arresting gear. Now watch the Q&A. Goes into the half cuminate maneuver now. Retracting the gear and the flaps and the tail hook up over the top. On the 45, down line, he'll roll to the upright. Setting up for the pitch rate demo. Performing a repositioning maneuver now. Here's the pull. Look at the controllability and the agility of the FA-18 Hornet. Setting up once again from show right now, the FA-18 Hornet is Lieutenant Bob Foley. Setting up now for the pitch rate demo. Watch him change directions from horizontal to vertical almost instantaneously. Watch this, the pitch rate demo. I'll tell you, the agility and the ability of the F-18 Hornet combined with its awesome arsenal of air-to-air weapons make this F-18 a world-class fighter that is feared worldwide. The F-18 Hornet. Now, the next demonstration is going to show you just how slow that F-18 Hornet can fly. Exceptional slow speed capabilities. The Hornet is famous for its ability to fly slower than any other comparable fighter. The F-18 remains completely controllable at these low air speeds due to the use of 2 flight control computers on board the aircraft. Once Bass completes this slow speed pass, he's going to select full afterburner, pitching the aircraft up through the vertical into a Cuban 8 maneuver, half Cuban 8 maneuver. I want you to watch very carefully, and if the wind is just right and he's got it slowed down, you might be able to see the tail, the elevators on the tail moving up and down very rapidly as those computers on board the aircraft are working to maintain what we call this high alpha pass. For his final maneuver, Lieutenant Foley is going to demonstrate the technique used by either Navy or Marine pilots to slow their aircraft and prepare for landing. The Hornet is going to approach from the left at 500 feet and perform the overhead brake, which results in the 360-degree descending turn. Once the gear and flaps are lowered, you probably can hear the precise power changes the pilot makes as the aircraft is expertly guided onto the landing spot at show center. Notice he doesn't flare at touchdown after he completes this circle. It's flown right onto the runway because they want to grab that number 3 wire. Okay, here comes the brake. Ready, ready. Now he's retarding the throttles, getting ready to select flaps and landing gear. We're going to simulate what we call a bolter here today. He's going to touch down, and as they always do when they hit the deck of the carrier, they go to full military power in case the cable should snap or they miss the wire. So we're going to call a bolter here. We're going to assume that going to see if he'll call the ball for us.
346, Hornet ball, 5.0, Foley.
Roger. He called the ball for us. He's got the... watch this landing now. No flare. Flies it right onto the deck of the carrier. Immediately applies full military power. Lieutenant Foley now setting up for one final high-speed photo pass. And then we'll go right into the Legacy flight, featuring the old and the new, the past and the present, as the F4U Corsair joins Lieutenant Foley for the Naval Legacy flight. Dan McCue at the controls of the Corsair, Lieutenant Foley at the controls of the Hornet. Building up some more airspeed now out there. Probably noticed as he yanked and banked on the F-18 Hornet, you can see some of the vapor coming off the wings. We call them vapes. And if we get enough humidity here at high speeds, you can really see some good vapes, sometimes covering the whole airplane. Here we go. Now he's got to slow that aircraft down and find the F4U Corsair out there. Join up on him for our Naval Legacy flight.